Dominique.
Trenton, Charles, Simmons, how are you?
Not the whole government, not Trenton Charles
Listen,
Simmons.
I had to give it today. I'm feeling very teacherish.
No,
It's
no,
a
no.
teacher mode.
You are very excited today.
Yeah,
Like
I
you,
am.
like you got a pep in your step today. Like you ready to get some stuff going. Like, how you
Honey,
feeling?
I'm feeling real good. Had a good day at work. Get to spend another Thursday evening with you, which is always amazing. And then I get to talk to some of my Miss Gay America family today.
And I
So
see that you was Miss Gay
I'm really
America
excited. Mhm.
2003, 22 years ago.
22 years ago.
How was that
Ain't that
experience? And
something?
how many girls was in the pageant?
I don't remember the exact number, but there were 40 something of us that year. And it was a really good experience. I really learned a lot about the business side of pageantry, and I
Hmm.
think that that's what Miss Gay America does. It teaches you, not only about how to be a contestant, or not how to just be a personality on stage. It really teaches you how to work behind the scenes and act on behalf of the pageant system itself. That's the role of Miss Gay America. You're basically the CEO for the year.
Mm,
For
wow.
the yeah, you go around. You're at a preliminary, 1 o'clock in the morning. You better not call the owner. You better make a decision
Oh,
and let
wow.
them know that you made the decision, and they trust that you made the decision that was in the best interest of the company. So it's not only good for you for pageantry and drag, but it's also you learn a lot of life lessons about life as for life as well.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
But who do we have today?
Well, today we have the new owner of Miss Gay America, Monica Mitchells. She's going to come in and she's going to talk to us about, her history with the pageant,
Okay.
the work that she did with Mr. Gay America, and then how she became the new owner for Miss Gay America, and her vision for the future. Because everybody wants to put their own stamp, their own mark on the system. And so as the pageant continues to grow, I mean, just keep in mind, the pageant's been going since 1972. And I
1972.
mean, it is
When they
the
still had
oldest
tires on the
pageant.
back of the Cadillacs.
You got it. You got it.
1972. Is this the longest running pageant?
It is. It is.
Wow.
Yeah. So it is the system from which all the other systems branched out from. So your mom's gonna
Okay.
tell us, how she's gonna put her own mark on the brand and on the system. And then we have two former Miss Gay Americas, well,
Talk about
forever
it.
Miss Gay Americas, Miss Gay America 2022, Dextaci, and Miss Gay
Okay.
America 2023, Tatiyanna Voche. So we're gonna learn some things, and we're gonna get to know these individuals. So I'm excited.
I'm excited as well because I've had some preconceived notions about what a Miss America is too. At
Hmm.
first, and then like I told you, I went the year it was in Memphis, and Luscious won. Excited as well
Hmm.
because I've had. Hold on, is that me?
No, no,
Luscious
no. That was
won.
that was me, baby. I'm sorry.
Okay, Luscious won that year, and it was one of the best experiences I ever had at a pageant because the entire top 10 was top tier. Like those type of talents they was doing. Like it was one girl doing Wicked. It looked like she was flying on her broom, and it was so amazing. I'm like, wow. What is? First, I was thinking like, where do you get all this money from to do this? Like
Yeah,
how much this pageant give away, and like you have to really have sponsors to do this type of drag on that type of level. But if people ever get to experience it, it is a really good pageant. And to
yeah.
me, it looked like a hard pageant to win in my eyes
It it
because
it can be mostly because they're not just only looking for an entertainer.
mhm,
They're looking for somebody that people can say, well, people don't pay to see an administrator, But if the pageant isn't well run and you don't have good customer service, and you're not ensuring that the people that participate in your competition are being treated well, and you're not looking out for their best interest, there's not going to be a pageant because they're going to quit coming. And so that I think that is why so many people continue to come to Miss Gay America, and a lot of entertainers, they come to compete for that reason. They want to have that opportunity to show that they too can be that CEO for the system.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we got Monica Mitchell here.
Yes.
Tell me about Monica Mitchell.
Well, I think that we just really met about 3 or 4 years ago at Mr. Gay America. I think it's when we really had the opportunity to get to know each other. And she's just a consummate professional. She's about business. She treats anything that she's involved in, with the utmost professionalism and respect. And so I was not surprised when they told us that she was the new owner, but I was also really pleased because I knew that the system was going to be in good hands. She takes this very seriously, and so I'm excited to go on this next journey with her. She's got some really great ideas about how she wants the performers and the Miss Gay America board to be involved. She's not someone that tries to control everything. She says, I need you all to help me be the different parts of this machine. And we're going to run this together. We're going to just come together to make one whole working organization. And I really love that. And I'm really excited about that.
Okay, well, good. Well, without further ado, as the children say on the mic, we bringing in Monica Mitchell.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
That kind intro, Dominique.
Hey, I just tell the truth. I just tell the truth.
I agree with what you were saying about what Miss Gay America is about. To me, it is the spokesperson, the CEO for a year. And I agree with what you were saying in regards to how we should look at Miss Gay America as opposed to other systems.
So how did you personally get involved in drag, and what was your first introduction to Miss Gay America?
So America has been the only system I've ever participated in. And I started back in 1997 was my first prelim, which was Miss Charlotte America, a prelim to Miss North Carolina America. So I got my start in North Carolina. And let's just say I had some heavy hitters there: Kirby, Cody, Tiffany Bonet, Blair Williams, Carrie Nichols, just to name drop a few. So these were the people that I looked at and I wanted to be like. But most importantly, I just wanted to be close to in the dressing room, because let's be honest, in our community, drag are our celebrities. These are our first touch with celebrity. And that to me was like, I'm in the dressing room with Carrie Nichols. I'm in the dressing room with Tiffany Bonet. Kirby Colby told me she liked my hair. Just things like that. It was like an amazing step to me. But I also came under the Norma years to where, and Dominique, you're going to understand this, where Trent evening gown was your earrings could not touch your dress. Your lining had to match your shoes. There were so many specific requirements that we had to go through. And that's what attracted me to the America system, was the administrative, the rules and regulation, because I'm a very structured person. My background is I have a master's degree in criminal justice. So I'm very structured. I'm very, play by the rules. This is how we do things. And I want to make sure that the person I'm standing beside is starting off on the same page that I am. And it's a competition from the word go. So that's how I got my start in the America system, was way back. I first was a admirer, someone that liked to watch, because North Carolina back in the day, would be one of the biggest prelims to Miss Gay America. They would have like 20 girls at the state level, and Charlotte even hosted several of the Miss Gay America national contests. At the Scorpio in Charlotte, they did preliminary nights, and then they would do final nights at the Ovens Auditorium. So, and then I stopped doing the pageants in 2002, the year before you won, Dominique. I'm sorry, I wasn't there. But I was ready to step away. And then I started becoming a city promoter for Miss North Carolina, for Miss Mecklenburg. Then I moved into the regional level, which I started my own regional, Gay Southern America. And then I did a Miss and a Mister at the same time. So that's how I kind of got into the whole America system.
So let me ask you really quickly, if this is true, is it true that the year of 1997, when it was there in Charlotte, which would have been the year Lauren Taylor won, what's that preacher's name that was based out of North Carolina? Weren't they out there protesting the pageant during final night?
Asked them to get into the auditorium.
Right. And so what was that experience like? Y'all bringing in all these props and dresses and wigs and stuff, and you're passing by the church people on your way.
It was almost comical because it was like, we fought like the saying from Mommy Dearest, we fought worse monsters than you for years. We can handle this. We'll walk right past them and go right in the auditorium. And what's interesting now is if you go to Charlotte, it's not that way anymore. They don't have those protests. They will at prides and stuff like that, but it's not that way anymore. And I live in Atlanta now. And of course, we have protesters at our pride every year, but you also have the counter protesters that protest the protesters. So it's almost like, who cares?
Gotcha. So how did you end up having a relationship with Simba and get involved into the national promoter scene with Mr. Gay America?
So when I did my first regional, it was the year Pattaya was Miss America and Simba was Mr. America. I had asked him if he would come and be a judge at my pageant, and he said, why don't you just have a Mister? And I was like, well, I'm starting off with the Miss. Let me, get with my board and ask them if they feel that we can do this. And they said we could. And so he came and we had a Mister and we had a Miss. And then it started working from there, where I was doing the prelim for both the Mister and the Miss. And then he asked if I would come and help with Mister. And I believe the first year that I was really big, you and Paul Lopez emceed the pageant at Mister.
Yes.
And then you judged one year. And that's when I had started moving into being the co-promoter. And at the same time that I was announced as a co-promoter, Mike and Rob had contacted me and wanted me to come on the board for Miss. So I was like, why is everybody giving me everything at one time? Let me settle. I was doing both things at the same time. And to where it finally was like, I really want to focus on one thing. And KC did a really good job last year as the director of the pageant. And he had talked about he wanted to take over. So I was like, I will gladly step aside because I know it's in good hands so I can focus on the Miss. And then here we are, where in July I signed the contract to be the new owner starting in January. So
congratulations on that.
And so right, and Trent, you jump in because this is my neighborhood, so I'm.
Oh no, listen. I know this is your neighborhood. That's why I want you to talk, because you know a lot about this subject. So I want you to talk and go in it.
Well, I heard in the intro you were asking Dominique about, is this the longest pageant? It's actually the longest drag pageant in the world.
Wow.
It'll be 54 years this year, and I will be, if you think of them as a team, I will be the fifth owner in the 54-year time frame, because you had Jerry Peak, then you had Norma, Larry and Terry, Mike and Rob, and then it'll be me. So it's huge, like shock to the system that I have to pinch myself because I come from a very small town in North Carolina where being a effeminate gay boy in the country was not, really accepted. And here I am. It's like, at 52 years old, who knew I was going to have my second chapter? So,
Was this something you always wanted to do or had an idea that you may wanted to do? Or
when I first got into drag, it wasn't just enough for me to be like, I want to be a performer. I wanted to learn everything about it. I wanted to learn how to run everything. I wanted to learn how, down to the judge's books, down to the MC book. I wanted to know everything because I feel the more you know, the more you provide to any system or to any product that you're giving. And like Dominique had mentioned in the intro, I look at things as a business. There's a bottom line and it's a business. And if you want it to continue to run for another 50 years, you have to make sure that the business is running smoothly because there should just be a playbook that you can hand off because I will be a steward of the pageant. This will not be with me forever. I will hopefully hand it off to somebody else and they will run with it and do better than I do.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to make sure that you're running it correctly, administratively, financially. And that's the biggest advice I would give anybody going into promoter. Have your finances in order. Have a budget. Stay within that budget. Know what you're doing. I can tell you that just last Friday, I signed the contract for our venue for the 2027 pageant. Yesterday, I signed the contract for the hotel for our 2027 pageant. I like to plan this far in advance so that I can build to it. So it's daunting, but it's exciting.
So planning ahead is key. I need some of these. I hope some promoters are looking at this because this is very important to hear. Because no one wants to get to the pageant and don't have the money, or the venue is not that good, or all this other stuff. But where did you get your structure from to even think on these terms? What do you do for a living? Like, what makes you?
Well, now this is all I'm doing. I did work. I've been a jack of all trades and master of none, but I have a master's degree in criminal justice.
Yeah.
I was a probation officer for a while.
Okay.
I worked for Medicare, screening people to see if they're able to get on Medicaid and disability. I've worked in retail. I had a business where I did home staging, fall into the gay stereotypes. And then I just enjoy promoting. I love putting on a good pageant. And that was another thing I heard you mention in the intro where you were talking about when you saw Luscious win, which, fun fact, Luscious and I got our start at the exact same time at the exact same bar in Charlotte. So it's like a full circle moment for me and my sister Luscious. I look at Miss Gay America National Pageant Week as a mini Broadway show every night. That's how I view it, because I think that the contestants, and Dominique, you can speak to this, I believe almost every year the level of talent is just going up and up and up. And especially with us bringing in film now, it's just like, wow, there's so much to get excited about. Now, it can be long nights of prelim nights with you have girls competing, but it's almost like you don't want to leave your seat because you're afraid you're going to miss something.
Right. So Mike and Rob come to you and they ask you to be the new owner. Did you know right away, oh yeah, I'm doing this? Or did you say, can I have a couple of days or a week to think about this before you said, yes, let me do it? What was that decision? Because that's a major undertaking.
I knew right away. My husband was like, no. He was like, no. But then the four of us got together and we talked through it. And I laid out, I said, okay, if, you want me to do this, I have to do it correctly. I'm not just going to jump in. So the way we laid it out is 2026 will be co-owners. And I will start to run all the prelims starting in 2026. And then come 2027, when we crown the 2 new girls, I'm the full-on owner. Because I told them, I said, I want to watch everything that we do at the national pageant in 2026. I want to absorb everything. I want to know everything. I don't want there to be any stone unturned. And they were in agreement with it, because I don't want them to hand it off to me and then it fail. You know, that would be a stain on the system. And that's not what it's about. You know, I want to continue the system. I want to build on it. My goal has been, because I was a contestant first and then a promoter, is I understand the cost for everybody involved. I want to make sure that for contestants, the cost is decreased. For promoters, the cost is decreased. And I'm really working at that. And I'm happy to say that some of the contracts that I've signed are going to help in that aspect.
Okay, that's
and that
great.
will all be revealed in January.
Oh wow. Okay, that's awesome though, that you're not only thinking about how cost effective it is for the national level, you're thinking about how cost effective it's going to be for your franchise owners, and then it trickles down to how it's going to be cost effective for the contestants, which is really amazing that you're thinking about the big picture. So do you, as you know, as a business owner, or as the owner of this system, do you think that that's a major component in ensuring that you maintain your supporters and your base and keep the contestants coming, keeping your promoters happy? Do you think that's essential?
Yes. I had a meeting with some of your sisters where I got feedback from all of them. I had a meeting with people that I'm looking to put on the board and had feedback from them. I've listened to other promoters. I'm like a sponge. I'm absorbing everything. This won't be a dictatorship. Not that it was under any other owner, but I want to hear everyone's opinion, because the cost of living is going up. And the uncertain times that we're living in right now, who knows if drag is going to be outlawed in 2 to 3 years? Who knows? So I want to make sure that the contestants are putting their money in something that is going to be sustainable to them. Pageantry is expensive, and it only keeps getting more and more expensive. But I want to try to help people to where it's not like they spend money and then there's nothing there,
Right.
So I'm looking at when I asked them, I said, send me over your revenue and everything, because I went through line by line, because I'm like, okay, we're gonna make this more efficient. We're gonna make this more cost effective for everybody, because I think if you show people that you're trying to help them, it will bring more promoters in. And now that we have 2 divisions, maybe they'll want to do 2 divisions in one night. And because we've lowered the cost for them, they can afford to do it.
Yeah.
As it pertains to like contestants sometimes too, like, bringing a crew of dancers and people in with you and helpers and stuff, like, and helping with the cost. Are y'all like looking at things like giving the contestants a break on dancers, or have y'all implemented anything of that sort? Because I don't know how America run. I don't know, what the stipulations are, but is that one of the things that y'all are gonna start?
Well, none of the changes will go into effect until after January, because this is still under the current owners, Mike and Rob, and under the reigning title holders.
Okay.
But one of the ways I'm looking at is, well, for promoters, I can already say that the new franchise contracts have a lowered franchise fee. I believe it was $1,100, and I've lowered it down to $950 now. But that was because I was able to do other things in order to lower that cost. For contestants, there will be some announcements in the future that will help them understand how their cost will be lowered. I hate to tease and be vague, but
Okay.
But all will be revealed in time,
yeah.
as they say. So as we get ready to, because we have Dextaci and Tatiyanna here, knowing the legacy and the history of Miss Gay America, what is your vision of what you want to do for the future of the system as we move into the new times? Drag is a lot different than what it used to be. We have different styles of entertainers than we used to. We got bearded queens that are now competing. What is your vision of where you would like to lead Miss Gay America?
Well, I don't want to reinvent the wheel. I want to improve on the wheel. And my thing is, I want to make sure that everyone understands that America is an all embracing, all welcoming system. That although there are certain requirements for the Miss division, the Femme division has been created so that we fill that void that some people felt has been there for years. And we want to include everyone. We're also Gay America Esquire is also under the same umbrella. So it's like we are trying to make sure that everyone feels at home, feels like they are seen. And like you mentioned, yes, we have a bearded queen as a contestant at the national level. So we're inclusive to everyone. And I want everyone to feel that they're seen, heard, and feel safe within the America system. Because again, we are living in the upside down right now. So we welcome everyone.
So I can
That
bring
is
my
so
beard
awesome.
over and I can put my gown and my hair on.
Mm-hmm. You sure can.
Yeah.
You got to win a prelim first, though. We don't do appointments in the America
Y'all
system.
don't do walk-in.
No.
Yeah.
So someone had asked the question, what is the prize package for Miss and what is the prize package for Femme?
They're the exact same and they're $10,000.
Ooh.
Okay.
I'm getting this beard together for real. I'm getting this beard together. I got my beard oil now. So any major changes that's coming along with you taking on ownership for the
So it'll be a
system?
change in venue.
Okay.
And it'll still be in January. For
Okay.
anybody that's listening and if it's not broke, don't fix it. January, because there's not other really competing pageants at that time. And to me, I don't know, Dominique, drag to me was never a summer sport. So if it's in the winter, but in due time, I'll be releasing more information.
Okay.
I see what you're trying to do. You're trying to get me to slip up and say something.
The people want to know. But we do have Gay America royalty amongst us. Two formers, right?
Well, you got three sitting right there beside you. Three.
Oh, well, I see she put her MGA 2003 up there today.
I wanted it to be known.
She wanted to be known that she won one of the hardest pageants.
Hard for that.
Yeah. And we have Dextaci with us. And we also have Tatiyanna Voche. We're going to bring them in to talk to us a little bit. Hey.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you guys doing?
Good, sister. How are you? Dex, your mic is still muted, sis.
I'm good.
Oh my goodness. So I think the first thing why don't you both tell us a little bit about yourselves, where you're from, and how you got started in the art form of female impersonation. Whoever wants to start.
Well,
Toddy goes first. Ladies first.
Oh, thank you. So I
really say the surgeon's wife.
It does say the surgeon's wife. I love me some Trent. So for me, I got started in this art form back in 2006. I was a theater boy in college, and I got really burnt out working professionally. And the theater that I worked at put me in a Halloween contest dressed as my favorite superhero, and I won. And part of that winning was a booking in the drag show. And, I was very stern in my mindset of I didn't want to do drag. And then I did one show, and it is addicting. It's like your own little theater. You get to do, your costumes, your music, your routines, and all that kind of stuff. It's very exciting. And then I grew up in Baltimore doing drag and seeing such a beautiful community of people. It became like a drug to me. I could not get enough of it. And with that, it kind of became, in order to be someone in Baltimore, you had to run for Miss Gay Maryland America. And I did 3 months after I started drag, and I was first runner up by 4 points. And it kind of was where everything blossomed. I saw, I met Miss Americas, and there was something so special about them that it just made the trajectory for my entire adult life what it was. I have lived and breathed the Miss Gay America system and preached it everywhere I go, and always will, because foundationally it has taught me more than any degree could possibly teach you. It taught me how to be a responsible person. It taught me how to be a great entertainer, a polished entertainer that cares about what you're presenting to your audience. But more importantly, it taught me the heart of this industry to get to know the people that you are constantly around, whether it's your sisters, whether it's audience members. Without that audience coming in, we're nothing. So this system has taught me how to be a good, well-rounded entertainer and person. And now I've traveled down 95 and I'm living in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Nice.
So to piggyback off that, we're kind of cut from the same cloth, me and Tatiyanna. As she said, a lot of us grow up in theater. Specifically for me, I grew up in competitive voice. So in the choir world, when I was much younger, it was a very competitive type of arena. So I was always a competition junkie when I was a kid, and was one of the best in the choir world. And then, as she said, I did get burnt out a lot. And when I graduated high school, I said, enough of this crazy routine. I'm sick of curtains and I'm sick of choir rooms. I'm going to take a break from anything artistic. So I was, following my studies in school, but I then found in the quiet stillness of the night, there was such a void. I was missing who I really was all of that time. And then, as many young gay people do, we're going to the bars and drinking and patty whacking, and we find ourselves at the karaoke at this bar. And then I was doing karaoke at a bar. Somebody approached me and was like, "You're such a weirdo. There's a great outlet for you." And they presented drag, and I was like, absolutely not. Disgusting, taboo, that'll never work. Half of my family are Catholic, the other half are Baptist. This is never, no, absolutely not. But one thing led to the next, and all of your friends that you start gravitating towards at a bar are drag queens, and those are definitely the mother hens. And then they put eyeshadow on you and this, that, and the other. And then thus Dextaci was born. And very much like Toddy said, in the Maryland world, Louisiana America has such a very rich history and legacy that if you want to be somebody and you want to get that sort of instant start in drag, the best place to mold and build and groom yourself is Miss Gay Louisiana America. It is like Louisiana State University. That is where you go. That is the pageant you do. So I did that, won that on my third try, and that really did ignite my fire to be Miss Gay America. And I was one of those that didn't get to go to college because that fire just really ran bright and hot for Miss Gay America. So I didn't get to finish college. I didn't get to become a choir teacher or a news anchor like I was supposed to be in my normal life. But as she said earlier, there's so many life lessons that the industry teaches you, and specifically Miss Gay America, about not only being a presentable entertainer on stage, but being a business-minded person off stage, being able to be clerical and being a very organized individual off stage. And on top of that, being somebody that people can relate to in the heat of the moment, you know, having people skills, being able to read a room. Miss Gay America truly does weather you and season you to really spearhead you into any industry, really. Even in my day job, it's like polar opposite of Miss Gay America, but Miss Gay America has taught me so many things to be successful in the real day job.
And what are some of the, I'm glad you said that. What are some of the things that Gay America teach you that readies you for such a journey, like even in your life?
I mean, I think it teaches you so much about organizational skills. Like, I mean, if you are an unorganized Miss America, your year is a complete wreck, you know? So it really does teach you organizational skills. It teaches you how to diffuse situations. You know, the reality is we do work at gay bars around alcohol, and sometimes people's heads are not on straight. And, you know, as Miss America, you have to be able to think quick, diffuse a situation, and keep things copacetic, you know? So, you know, outside of that, really how we talk to people, how you treat people, you know, and those are hardcore values that, you know, people call it street smarts, but Miss America really did teach and instill that in us through the years.
Yeah. And I think something else it teaches you is even, you know, regardless of like organization and like the business side of it, it does teach you some other things in terms of your taste level, what you should and shouldn't do. You know, sometimes as performers, we go through these like experimental phases where, oh no, I'm not going to wear this type of hair, or I'm not going to do this type of music. Even artistically, Miss Gay America really does help filter you. And I'm not saying water you down and make you a cookie cutter, but Miss Gay America truly makes you get pushed into a corner to truly pressure yourself and really find out who you are as a unique individual.
And it also fuels our livers for the rest of our lives.
Yeah.
Listen, because I don't think that I started, because I won when I won Miss America, I was 26, and I did not start drinking until I was Miss America. Because we used to have the spring retreat every year where we would meet in Little Rock, and all the promoters came, all the performers came, and that's when, you know, everybody would vote on different things that they wanted to change about the pageant. And so, and I'll never forget Tiffany Bonet saying, okay, because everybody was back there drinking and stuff. And then she looked at me and she was like, oh no, there's no way you're going to be a Miss Gay America and you don't drink. She says, that is not about to happen. And I'm telling you, drinks were coming everywhere. And so I want you guys to speak about that part, because when you become a member, when you become a Miss Gay America, I really want you guys to touch on the true sisterhood that there is amongst the formers, because it's not only when you're at Miss America or at a pageant, it extends to your everyday lives, to where you're talking to your formers almost we're so engaged and interlocked with each other from the moment someone wins. Can y'all talk about that and how you feel like it shaped your year? And you know, what is that? What did that mean to you?
You know, I think personally, and Dex and I, we're like America's duo, because I swear we're just cut from the same cloth and our hearts just kind of mold together. But, you know, we have talked a lot about this in our one-on-ones or when we have time apart from everyone else. That is one of the true things that sets the Miss Gay America system apart from any other system. And that's not dissing, saying that they don't have people that are like the Miss America sisters, but every single former that has won this title, the minute you win, you are a part of their life, whether they are still active in Miss America or not. They reach out to you constantly throughout the year to make sure that you are doing okay. There are still some that I speak to on a daily basis, and it's been, you know, 2.5 years. It is the class book definition of a family. They are there to support you. Every single person that has worn that crown understands what your year looks like. For some, it's a lot more, it's much harder. And for others, it's easier. You know, I won 17 years after I started. So Miss America for me was already in my blood. It was ingrained. I knew what to do, where there are some people that win on their first or second time that hasn't had that longevity. So for them, the sisters are such a sounding board for advice and for guiding them. We've all done this. We've been stuck on planes. We've had a drunk promoter. We've had an angry contestant. So, you know, there are a lot of situational things that the sisters really do give us guidance, but the genuine love that every single person has that has been a Miss Gay America, that doesn't leave you. That excitement of hearing you called a forever Miss Gay America resonates with all of us. And there's something so respectful that all of us care so much about what Miss Gay America is and has always been, that it's just a part of us. It's a part of our daily life. So we do bring that new sister in and continue to be that voice and that sounding board for them.
I think to piggyback off that, we, you know, as a spectator, as a hopeful, as somebody before you win, even if you are Miss Gay America's biggest fan, which I am, there's something about Miss Gay America that's this weird, it's not tangible, it's this weird magic that regardless of the size, regardless of the look, regardless of the polish, regardless of the mouth, regardless of the attitude, there's something about each Miss America that when she walks into a room, that it's just this weird dynamic. It's almost like back in the day when the principal would walk in, you would kind of command yourself, but not in a scary way, but it's almost like when they walk into the room, it's just this weird presence. And I always wanted that. Like, I always felt it when I saw a Kirby walk into the room, and when I see a Jessica Jade on stage, it was just these weird goosebumps. And I always wanted to belong to that. And so as a hopeful, as a tadpole, I would watch these ladies at the review show every year and just be out of my skin, just going, one day I want that. So where Tatiyanna was talking about the advice and the, you know, the senior to the freshman and passing the torch, and there's Miss Americas to always offer advice. The sisterhood to me was always like, when I witnessed it, I didn't know when it was going to happen, but I knew it was going to happen because I was just trying to manifest that same good energy that Miss Americas gave off. I wanted to do that as a contestant. But when it does happen, it's so unique how you relate to so many Miss Americas on so many different levels. And like Tatiyanna said, you know, being a state title holder, it really does serve as incredible training wheels, because the jobs of Miss Maryland and Miss Louisiana and Miss Texas, if you have done that job, it's no different. You're just doing it on a bigger scale and on an airplane every night of the week. So that sisterhood truly is strong. And it's almost like when you win, they already had a spot for you all along. And like the Tiffany Bonet story, when you said that about drinking, I immediately resonated with my Tiffany story. It's almost as if it was the coach in the dugout at baseball and she just wrapped her arm around you and said, finally, or, you know, it's so very receptive to win Miss America and to have your sisters embrace you, because again, regardless of how much advice or how little advice, you know, a Miss America may give to you or anything, it's so incredibly welcoming when people you may not have ever had a conversation with knew your name and, you know, like, you're our sister. What are you talking about?
But I think with that too, all of us, we wanted to make the people that paved the way for us proud. Like, whenever I was around a sister, while I was Miss America, there was always a sense of, I want them to be proud of the job that I have done to carry on their legacy while I was in their presence.
Yeah, because sisterhood goes two ways. There's the sisters behind you, but now you are the Tiffany Bonets and the Dominiques.
I know, I'm the Tiffany Bonet of this generation.
And, you know, sisterhood is also looking to the future. So yeah, it's all fun and games with all of us in the cuckoo's nest. But at the same time, there's sisterhood coming up the pipeline, and we're, oh my God, there's going to be a new one come January, and then another 365 days. It's just the law of pageantry.
So you have your crowning moment, you win. So I want you to talk about your crowning moment when they finally said your new Miss Gay America, Dextaci, or your new Miss Gay America, Tatiyanna Voche, and you get started and your year start. Look at that ugly cry. Oh my God. I did not realize how fucking ugly you looked, bitch.
Baby, fucking, it looks like I'm giving birth.
She is.
But they finally say your new Miss Gay America, Dextaci, your new Miss Gay America, Tatiyanna Voche, and you finally have it. And you get into so talk about that winning moment, but then you get into the year and you're dealing with all the things. Did you ever have a moment where you was like, what in the hell did I get myself into?
So I'll go first.
Yeah, go.
So when the moment happens, as a contestant, you sometimes feel the energy in the room all week and you go, this is not my year. This one was really kicking ass. But every Miss America can attest that the year she wins, there's just this weird feel-good rhythm vibe. So when I won and they go, okay, fourth runner-up, 3, 2, and the winner is, it was almost like everything in my life and everything in drag rewound, like on those movies, like Armageddon, before the, Bruce Willis hits the button, it just flashed. Mm-hmm. It's like everything in my life flashed in 2 seconds. And then there's a moment that every Miss America can understand that when they announce that, it's almost out of body, like, I've prayed for this and have worked so hard for this. I was going to come back to this pageant anyway if I lost, because that's how much I loved Miss Gay America. I'd still be competing even if I would have lost.
How many times did you do it?
Oh my gosh, I did it 8 times.
Okay.
So, I believe in my lifetime from Sally forward at the national level, I competed more than all of us.
Okay.
But with that many attempts, it, regardless of one time, 8 times, it was just the most full circle, self-validating moment. But being the Miss Gay America that I was, and knowing the year I wanted to have, I knew that moment was my only time. When you win the title, you have to selflessly understand that 30 seconds of Pataya Hart crowning you, that's your moment. The year is not your moment. The year is you being an ambassador and you continuously roll.
Say that again.
Yes. The crowning moment is the only moment that's yours, because when you reign, you have to be such an ambassador and you have to cater to every aspect of this contest. Contestants, promoters, formers, potential promoters that are going to talk your head off, that are never going to sign a dotted line to be a promoter, contestants that I may talk to for a year that don't enter, and then Toddy picks up the pieces with her, and then Desi may talk to her, and then she finally enters. Mm-hmm. So it's always about being a caterer, being a provider as Miss America. And my body went hot, my body went cold. And then you always get told a reason no, and you just don't understand why. It's like, but that year was the year I had the best gown, or that was the best year I had the best talent. Mm-hmm. And there were other years I wanted to win, definitely. I mean, going 8 times, I wanted to flip tables all the other 7 times. And one year I think I may have, but that's neither here nor there.
Can I ask a question for the 3 of you real quick?
Oh, let me finish this because I'm going to forget it. Okay. But winning after the pandemic and then being the 50th anniversary Miss Gay America, it all made sense. I went on a health journey during the pandemic and became my best self. So it was almost as if time and the universe and the planets aligned and the algorithm just clicked. It happened when it was supposed to. And looking back, even now, it happened when it was supposed to, because I couldn't do it right now. I just couldn't. So that's what went through my mind. And then I went, oh, shit. Oh shit, now I have to be presentable. I have to be well spoken. I have to run a presentation of orientations and things. And it was like, uh-oh, yeah, this is all fun, but I really do have to do it. Oops, I messed up.
So what I was going to ask.
Oh, go ahead.
You kind of said it there, Dex, is I'm a true believer in everything happens at the right time. It may not be our time, but it's the right time. And I think you learn better when it happens at the time it should, not when you wanted it to.
100%.
You said it just there, because I know in my position, then I'll shut up. I wasn't ready to do what I'm going to do 5 years ago, but I'm ready now. And so I think that regardless of you talking about it took you 8 times, Tati, I don't know how many times you did
7.
it. And Dominique, how many times did you do it?
4.
She was 2003 and 3 times.
So, I mean, don't you feel that when you won, that was the time that you should have won? Like it was, the universe was telling you something?
I definitely do, because it's really interesting. The year Charity won, I was like, oh my God, because people, because you're out there, you're doing your thing, and people say, oh my God, you're fabulous, you're killing it, you're doing the thing, oh my God, you're gonna win this. And then they called me, and just keep in mind, then when they called me a second runner-up, instead of enjoying the accomplishment that I was second runner-up, I was pissed off because I believed that I was supposed to have won, because that's what everybody had said. So I couldn't even celebrate that moment that I had made an accomplishment of even being second runner-up. And and so then, but when I won, I remember sitting, I don't remember where I was. I think I was here in Ohio, and they had gave me Black Velvet all night. And so we were just sitting around talking. And I just remember talking to somebody, and they said, do you think you could have done this when you thought you should have won back then? I was like, absolutely not. But going back to that sisterhood thing, Charity, she knew how disappointed I was. And when she came to work at Discovery, shortly thereafter her win, she pulled me to the side. She says, and everybody had cleared out, because we had those breaks in between the 2 shows. And she said, let me tell you something. She said, this was my year. She says, when it's your year, it will come. She says, now what I am going to do, she says, I will help you get prepared for your moment. But she says, you weren't ready to do this in this moment. She says, were you? And I said, she says, what are you supposed to be? And I couldn't tell her what I was supposed to be doing. And she says, that proves that the judges made the right decision. She says, why don't you get ready for your moment?
I also think like that speaks to the magic of Miss America. Like I've always said it for years. There is a magic that happens. I mean, and Dex is right. You do feel differently that whole week, but you never realize it because we have been told no so many times that you don't trust that feeling until you're looking back. For me, the night I won, I mean, listen, it was a 17-year journey for me. So I had yearned for a very long time to hear my name called as Miss America. And when they started going through placements, I was content with myself. I knew that I had nothing else that I could offer, that if I did not win this year, I was going to have a really hard conversation with myself because I didn't know what else I could do. And when the placements were coming, I remember saying to Kirby a few weeks before, I said, sis, if I win, do not let me fall. Do not let me pee my pants. And if I pass out, slap me. And when it got up to it, you feel the entire room looking at you. And I mean, I'm getting my arm hair is standing up. Like, it is a moment you just will never forget. And I was in my head, they had announced Desi as the first runner up, and I said, don't fall over, unlock your knees, don't pee your pants. And I instantly, after that moment, I started looking for Kirby. And I remember Kirby grabbed this hand, Susie Wong and Endor were over here. And it is an out of this world experience after working for something for so long and putting so much into it. And you're right. I said this from the get-go. The journey through competition, when it is about you, is all the years leading up. That's when it's about you. When you finally win Miss America, it's not about you anymore. So that for me was my celebration of an accomplishment. It was a celebration for everyone that had helped me over those 17 years and believed in me. We finally did it. And that was it. And then I knew exactly what I wanted to do from day one. And for me, there was never a moment of question that this was not what I wanted to do. It was everything I had hoped of and more. And I think a lot of that had to do with when it's your time, it's your time. And people, and I want to say this because I get really pissed off because it's shitty. It downplays the accomplishments that Miss Americas have had. Well, oh, they finally gave it to her. She finally ran for so many years. They gave it to her. No, that's not it. What happens is with the Miss America system, you finally learn the equation. You understand the score sheets. You understand the process of what it takes to be a Miss America. When you competed your first year, you don't understand all those subcategories, nor are you paying attention. You don't understand the equation. And as you grow within the system, that's how you learn how to win and become a Miss Gay America. Everybody wants that instant gratification. They don't want to put in that work.
So being a Miss Gay America, what I'm hearing from you guys is that you got to really know how to hit the pavement running, right?
Day one.
So if a girl is lucky enough to win the pageant and she's not equipped like that, who does she have to depend on for that? Like, do the sisters come together, or she have somebody she can lean on throughout the year, to teach her to go? Because it seems like it's a lot of work being Miss Gay America. And I, just me on the outside looking in, me and my best friend always say, child, you can't even have no job if you Miss Gay America because you working so much, you gone so much. Whatever job you have, I imagine you have to put it on hold for that year because you're always working, right?
I didn't. Dex didn't. Like it. I mean, I will say that is part of the exhausting part about it. I mean, I would fly into town. I would do as many hair clients as I could while I was in town, and I would fly right back out. But that and Dex did the same thing. She would fly in, she would work, or she would work, while she was traveling on her laptop. I think for us, that's that sister magic. We are always there to lean on, to give kind of the 1-2 of we know when a person wins if they're ready or not. Okay. But it's also, I think a majority of us also try and let those girls figure out their own way. We don't want to, at least Dex and I have talked about this, so I can say both of us. Neither one of us ever want to be that overpowering sister that's like, what are you doing? Did you do this? Did you do that? Did you know what I mean? So they have to want it. They have to want the help and the push. It's not, of course, any of us will offer it at any time, but whoever wears that crown also it's a two-way street.
Yeah. And, to sort of talk about, if there's a Miss Gay America that may win, that may not be so seasoned and ready to hit the ground running. So one of the biggest things about America, and usually why people do choose to be Miss Gay America or to compete, is Miss Gay America has a 50+ page document that gives you the entire rubric of job expectations, rules, responsibilities, administrative duties, you name it. It's in that book. And one of the toughest realities to face as a contestant is when you sign that dotted line, you're agreeing to those terms and conditions. So when you say, oh, it's my first time, or it's my whatever time, I didn't do it for 100 years like them. You signed a document, a legal document, as a consenting adult, just like you would a tattoo, or if you went and closed on a house. Yay.
Congratulations.
Thank you. When
Thank you.
America, you have a checklist of what is expected before you win.
Mm-hmm.
Before you win. And regardless of how seasoned or how weathered you are in Miss Gay America, you get an orientation with the owners and the board that you go through every page, every paragraph of that handbook to ensure that you know that we all know in this board meeting that is what is expected of you. So that way you can't go 6 months up the road and go, oh, they never told me about this, that, and the other. No, it's always
all there.
It's all there, and you can't say that you weren't provided with the tools, because you had the tools to win, because you sure knew how to win and find the rubric. Well, did you not turn to page 23, 24, and 25 to read the rest of the expectation? So, but again, there's always going to be those issues where you can read a rule book, but sometimes real life happens, and that's when you have to phone a friend and go, hey, Monica, I have diarrhea. I don't think I'm going to be able to make it to orientation. Toddy, can you step in and do it? There's always going to be safety nets that are within reason that you can always lean on.
So let's go to another piece that we talked about earlier, is where, Miss America for years have, gotten a lot of scrutiny. Before film was introduced, Miss Gay America got a lot of scrutiny for it just being for people who live their lives as males, and through padding and makeup and wigs, they transition into females on stage. It was not open to our trans sisters to compete. And so Miss America for years got a lot of flack for that. What are your thoughts about that criticism? And what are your thoughts about why if you feel that Miss America should stay the way that it is, or that it was, why do you feel that was important?
I'll speak for me and my shoulders. There's three of us. Listen, I can't stand next to a beautiful lady with soft shoulders. I look like Bob the Builder. Like, that is, Miss America was the art form for me and my outlet where I felt like I had a chance to succeed. Being at US of A, now that I had Miss America behind me, I had the confidence to know how to handle my body a little bit. But still, there's always that little devil back here that's like, girl, you got big shoulders. You're just Bob the Builder. And that's the reality of it. So for me, it was always about, this was the system where I felt like I had a chance to invest myself as a person with wide shoulders, a wide back, sometimes walk like a trucker down the subway street. But it was the place where I felt I could invest my time, talents, and money for succession. Now, with that being said, I'm so glad that we have the Femme division, because we were under huge scrutiny for that, and this was really a lot during Dex's reign and my reign, and we had a lot of conversations about it. We both have a lot of trans family members and friends. So us being able to finally bridge that gap and give them a spot in the crown by holding that title is amazing.
Yeah, and I think for me, it was all of that, what Toddy said about why I also chose it. But there's just something to me about when something is the original and the blueprint and the alma mater of all those things. It's like almost like when you're collecting baseball cards or Pokemon cards, Miss America is like the rarest and the most, the original, I don't know. It's hard to explain that. And I chose those things as well, because as a plus size entertainer, people were constantly telling me, you'll have better success here. You'll have an easier road here. But something always pushed me about this whole motto of, to be the best, go compete against the best. Mm-hmm. And back when I started, that was really the starting point of when newcomer pageants were coming about. So it was literally, I was going to do Miss Louisiana America that year, or go to Indiana and do US of A Indiana newcomer. So I was very much teeter-tottering, because newcomer was blossoming their first year. And so I chose Miss America because it's just, it represents so many facets of my life, not even on stage, but off, structure, discipline, routine, things like that. And that's why I chose Miss America. And um, Miss Gay America not allowing our trans sisters all of these years, I think the reason that, that it hasn't been beforehand, like now Femme is here. Yes, we can celebrate. Yes, we can do these things. And again, all of this, scrutiny all of these years is because when you change something that's always been the way it is, yes, sometimes it can seem old fashioned. Yes, it can seem like, oh my gosh, they need to get with the times and develop. But Miss Gay America is doing everything that it possibly can in the confinements of still holding true to what it is, such as personal interview, allowing people that you do not have to live as a male. You can be non-binary and you can still identify as trans if you still hit the specific guidelines. But I think it's done wonders for our community. And shout out to Naomi, because I saw her on one of the
she is killing it this year.
That it's just been incredible to watch it unfold, because Miss America has always been what it is this pageant and that pageant. But it's so wonderful to see one of our trans sisters step into the role of Miss America and still be Miss America. And I don't think that they get a separate treatment or anything, that they're the redheaded stepchild, just to watch that year blossom of hers. It's truly been incredible to see her.
It really has.
Things like that. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And Monica, I want to
just see her. Oh, go ahead, Trent.
Monica, I want to ask you really quick, because we pageantry is going through a slight shift. Like a lot of prelim people are not showing up to prelims. A lot of prelims are not happening anymore. The contested numbers are down. What is the magic that a pageant like Gay America has? Because when we look up and we look at you guys' number, it's still 49 and 50 girls competing. What is that magic that keep y'all going?
I think it's what they touched on. It's the legacy. It's the history. It's being a part of the family. I think for anybody that enters the America system, they have their forever sister that has been their role model, that has been their idol. For me, it was Carrie Nichols, and she was the whole reason I got into it. And when I started back in the early 90s, there were the big four, and that was about it. Okay. But now you can see 3 or 4 pageants a week. And yes. I think like, I don't remember if it was Tatiyanna or Dextaci mentioned, they want that instant gratification. Go do a bar pageant and win the money immediately. And for America, it is a different roadmap where we don't have appointments. We don't have representatives. You have to do a prelim to get to the national dance. And so you have to put some skin in the game over the course of the season. But the payout, I mean, to be able to be on a national stage as a first-time competitor, if you have the chance to do that, that's amazing. And each night of the national pageant is like a mini Broadway show in America. Each night, it's like you paid entry fee to see Wicked 7 nights that you're there or whatever. Because
that's how it was for me.
The level of talent each year, and you two can attest, or all 3 of you, it has gone up each year for me. It is like you sit there and you're like, okay, I think she'll make the top 10. Well, I forgot about her. And it's like, I think that for America, others will come and go, but America will always be around because it's proven itself for almost 55 years. So it's like they said, it's the blueprint.
It is. And I also I feel like, at least for me, I think some people forget sometimes that when you are a reigning national symbol of excellence for whatever system, it was important to me to share my experience with people, to ignite that flame, to make them want to be a part of our system, because that's so important. If without them coming in and our dream transferring to them, we don't exist any longer. Our legacy dies. So it was very important too, to be able to to nurture those people and express to them why. Why do you want to come to Miss America? This is why. I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you all the things that I have gotten for 17 years of being in this system. And I guarantee you one of them will ignite a flame in you.
And I think something else, Trent, that contributes to the success of Miss America and how we say y'all's numbers are always there. You know, sometimes it may drop, but just over the course of time, Miss America has never had a problem developing or producing numbers. And I think the biggest key component is when we open those rule books, there's different players in the game. You have promoters, you have contestants, you have ratings, you have this, you have that. And it's almost like when you buy into this America cake or whatever, it's almost like you care about your spot. Mm-hmm. And I say that because if Miss America has this heart and soul, and promoter Joe has that same heart and soul as a promoter, and Susie Q has that same heart and soul as a fiery contestant, mm-hmm. It all is a well-oiled machine. And if you, it speaks for itself. It's almost as if the expectation of Miss America as a contestant is from the ground up. So girls that compete for Miss Ohio, girls that compete for Miss Texas, it's like it's their Miss America. So it really recycles and replenishes itself because the care and the expectation of being Miss America is even at city prelims. While we may think, oh, a city prelim is a lower. No, there's girls at city prelims that would do anything to be Miss America. So it's almost like the care and the want and the need is the same from a city prelim or when you're just a 21-year-old hopeful reading a rule book. The passion is so strong from every party. That's what makes Miss Gay America the one.
It's also like you were talking about when Miss Gay America walks into a room, you felt some kind of way. Well, even every like time. You said, the city winners feel that kind of way when they're at their home bar or when they're at a pride. They feel that respect and that pride in that title and then that crown, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yep.
You're on mute, Dominique.
I'll make you mute. And babe, I mean you going.
I was really spinning. So with that being said, then, you know, because now you have a lot of people that believe that the ideal way to reign is by how many pictures you put out, you know, how many performances you do. How important is that one-on-one connection with the brand of the system that keeps people filtering in? How do you think that's important, or do you think it's just, oh yeah, I just do it because I have to do it? But do you think that that's essential? That
it's all part of it.
Because in my opinion, I feel that people want to be a part of something that they feel connected to. And when a title holder comes to you personally and say, I think you would be a great fit for our system, people will compete just because you ask them and you show interest in them. Do y'all find that to be true?
To an extent, but I really feel like, you know, there was something even prior to winning, like the first of every month, I was excited to see what new promo Miss America was going to release and what newsletter and the things that were going to be said in that newsletter. Did I make the newsletter? Like, I saw her at this bar. Am I going to be in the newsletter? Do you know what I mean? Like, there was always an excitement. I felt like I was a part of her journey every year reading her newsletter. And, you know, some people think that is the most stupid requirement that we have as a job title or duty of Miss America. And I think it's one of the most important, because when you're involving people in the community, whether, you know, some people can't afford to go to a bar in the times that we live in. Some people can't, you know, whether they may be handicapped and they don't have accessibility for help to get to a bar. They still are able to follow along with your journey, which is so important. And I think, not to be an old fart over here, but I think the younger generation doesn't care as much about some of that stuff, but they'll be the first to read it. and they'll be the first to comment on it. And that's how you know you're still doing something right.
And, the newer generation is that's so old fashioned. But at the same time, this new generation is so quick to go, yes, old school when somebody comes out. Bitch, like Miss Tiffany at Continental. Oh, Miss Thang.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Give me more.
Yeah.
So people are always so quick to go out with the old and in with the new. And I get that. And yeah, we need to be progressive in things. But sometimes those old foundations were created to spark or to domino effect that magic. Like a newsletter, I look at that and I go, yeah, that's kind of dated. And yeah, but at the same time, when I would be mentioned in Sally's, when I was mentioned in her thing, I would print it out and I have it framed in a book.
Wow.
Girl, and writing those newsletters at 4 a.m. sometimes, or on a plane coming home. Ugh.
Yeah. And then it's like, when you're doing your newsletter, you're in the driver's seat going, now I have to, itemize out everybody I saw and did. And it's just magical. And it's a lot of work to do it. But when you read it on the other side, there's girls that just go, oh my God, I can't wait because I know that she's going to be at our bar in 2 months and our home bar is going to be in her newsletter. It's so cool.
That's a great idea, though. That's amazing. So, speaking of this having such an esteemed title, to both of y'all, what was the hardest part of your reign?
You want to go first, Dex? Do you want me to go? Because I know.
I mean, I hate to say this, but when I signed up in 2010 at my very first city prelim, I knew my expectation. And then I always set my life around is it going to be this year? So I think the most challenging part for me as Miss America was when you compete for so long, people sometimes want to deem you a one-trick pony, or is she going to be stale and boring because they just finally gave it to her? And so one of the most challenging things for me as Miss America was to ensure that I was always alert on and that I didn't slack in the most normal type of ways. Meaning that you're exhausted. You are absolutely exhausted. I mean, I remember being at California America that night at the end of the prelim, just sitting on the floor of the shower, crying, not because I'm upset or I did a bad job, but I am so exhausted that I can feel my bed sheets at home. I can taste my food in my refrigerator. So it's really the sleep deprivation and all of that, because again, when people say, oh, the job is hard and all this, well, again, you have a rule book of expectations. And if you followed it and you groomed yourself as to what's expected, the job comes very, very natural. But it's the real life things that were the hardest for me about, I work for a great company. I have a great position. So sometimes having to ice skate my real life foundation of good rest and health and food and routine, winning Miss America, that just took the table and flipped it. So being, sleep deprivation is definitely the hardest, and putting your life on hold for 365, and in life, meaning that a possible relationship, buying a house, going back to school, taking care of a family member that needs it. So truly the sleep deprivation and the sacrifices that have to go on hold.
Yeah. For me, I mean, all those things are very true, I think, for a lot of us. For me personally, I wanted the people that got the Voche experience night one to get the same exciting Voche experience on day 364. I wanted that magic, that sparkle, that refreshed person that people had heard about or seen for 17 years. I wanted them to get that same exact person that they had thought that they were going to get, no matter when they saw me during my reign. And there were times we would sit on a bed and cry for a hot minute, Dex and I, or I would sit in the shower and cry, or on a plane ride. Sometimes you're so tired that hood comes up and you just feel the waterworks coming because you're so tired. And there's nothing logical about the tears. It's just exhaustion. But I think for some Miss Americas, you work yourself so hard and take any available opportunity you can to showcase Miss America, that it, even with having an abundance of prelims, there's so much more than that. It's taking every booking at every bar and every appearance and every phone conversation, because you only get a year. That's all you get, and you want to make the most of it.
So how does one prepare a closet to be Miss Gay America? Because y'all are gone a lot. Do you learn how to sew for yourself?
No, honey, I sold feet pics for 5 years leading up to my win. I'm just joking.
Yes.
The wardrobe aspect is a lot, because as Miss America, you usually do have a prize package that in most of the times is better than the majority of other national pageants. But with that being said, you also have so many appearances as Miss America. So while the money coming in is good, you also have to remember
right back out.
It's going right back out. So, for me, I had lost maybe 200 pounds right before I won. So I was starting from no closet. So it was almost as if when I got money, it went right to wardrobe, and I just had, 2 or 3 people sewing all year. And it was a madhouse. Oh my God.
It is a madhouse. I mean, after my 8-year break, before I decided to come back, I'd started building up my closet because I knew it was within reach. I knew I was ready. So I wanted to start being able to go day one, because I think a lot of girls just think about leading up to winning. They don't think about that next day. They don't think about, I was ready to go. I had my first 5 prelim looks ready. They were already in the works. And if I didn't win, I was going to use them for shows. I had my photographer all ready to go with a photo that could be possibly released the next morning, just in case. Like, I had the idea of what I wanted to be ready to go. I had already planned my reign. I didn't just think about going up to my night of winning.
Tatiyanna, really quick, why did you take an 8-year break from the pageant?
Because the gays are exhausting. No, I'm just they are. So here's the thing. I was at a place where I started drag very young, and I feel like I never got taken seriously. I was always the golden child because I put my heart into everything, and I would do anything for anyone, whether it was coming into a bar early and putting black duct tape on the chairs that had holes in it, or choreographing opening numbers. But I felt like I was just not taken as seriously as I wanted to be. I didn't feel like I was equal with a lot of the older queens. I was close with all of them, but I never felt as an equal. And when my life started to really blossom in this industry, I was burnt out and I wasn't loving drag, and I needed to take a break. I couldn't afford to do drag the way that I wanted. I couldn't afford to go to Miss America the way that I wanted. And I had worked really hard to build a name for myself those first 7 years, or 5 years at Miss America, excuse me. I didn't want to go to Miss America, a busted girl, not being able to do what I knew I could do. And for me, it was the healthiest decision I could have possibly made, because I took 4 years off from performing completely, and then 8 years off from Miss America. And throughout those 8 years, I planned for me going back to Miss America. I planned what my reign wanted to be. I had really taken a hard look at why I was not winning, and I knew what I needed to do. And I grew up a lot. And it's like everyone was talking about earlier, you look back and you go, I would have loved to have won, in the early mid 2000s, but I was meant to win in 2023 to leave the legacy that I had always wanted to leave.
That's great. So let me ask you, Monica, for you, I want to ask the question, as the new owner, what do you project to be the moment where you will say, because you're already putting in the work, and you're about to put in a lot of work. When will be the moment when you think that you'll say, okay, all that I sacrificed was worth it? And for you, Dextaci, for you and Tatiyanna, during your year, what was that moment where you were just like, everything that I sacrificed and I put into this, it was all worth it?
Ooh.
It's going to sound cliche to me, but I've already hit that moment. You know, I've been doing drag for over 30 years, and I've now reached as far as I can go in this career. And I'm amazed. I'm excited. And I know I was built for this. I know this is what I was meant to do. I had entered pageants. I had won. I'd never won a state or national, but that happened for a reason, to put me here. And so I'm already reached that pinnacle of feeling like all the hard work has been worth it, because I know that people have seen the work that I've done and they approve and appreciate it. And now it's my chance to give back and continue the legacy that I have always admired and respected and wanted to be a part of. I just didn't realize it would be from this angle.
And I think for me, the whole, where was this all worth it? I said it a while back, like when you win, that moment, that photo, that's about you. And then the rest is about contributing to your community and the system's success. And I have had this conversation with a lot of people. While your reigning year is very rewarding, it is the most life-changing year. The real fruits of your labor come after the crown comes off.
Mm-hmm.
So where I get those validation or those tick marks of this is all worth it, it's almost every time I'm in drag. It's almost every time I'm at a bar or I'm coaching a contestant with interview. It's just this weird reservation that people always have for the Miss Gay America organization, that it is so humbling and so rewarding.
Mm-hmm.
To go places and to always be received and welcomed as that. And just, it's almost like every time I'm in drag on the weekends, it's that constant little reminder of going, there's a me 15 years ago in the audience that
Watching.
I may be there, you know, like the Jessica Jades were to me and the Blairs. It's like the circle of life happens again. And when I look out into the audience and I see a hopeful, I go, will she be here in 15 years? And that's what's all worth it to me, is that hopeful, that circle, that continuous loop of they're out there and they're going to be a part of this too one day.
There were three for me. The first was my whenever I won Miss America, my dream was that the people in front of me, behind me, and beside me were all happy that I won. And the night that happened, I felt that. I felt it coming from the internet, the people that brought seats in the audience, my fellow competitors, the sisters that were on the sides of me. So that was my first moment that I said, this is it. And then the night of my give up, turning around and looking at all of those sisters behind me, and you can go down that line and see how proud they are of what you just did. And it just resonates from them. And then it's what Dex said. You know, I am very lucky and very blessed to still be just as busy as I was when I was Miss America, that people still want to invite me and spend their money on me and invite me into their families in their own cities and states. I mean, it is something that I will forever cherish and be grateful for. The magic continues. I get to carry on living and breathing a system that has done so much for me. This is how I continuously give back, and it's beautiful.
So one more question, pageant wise, and then we're going to kind of, because Trent and I like to get a little personal.
You won.
When you hear the phrase Miss Gay America, a symbol of excellence since 1972, describe what that means. In each of you, I would like description.
Wow. I'm glad that wasn't a question and answer, because that's kind of a hard question. But when I hear it, I hear it twofold. Like when I hear Miss Gay America, yada, 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 1972, I see so much of myself in there. Now, mind you, I wasn't around in 1972. I came 16 years later, but it just represents such a melting pot of artistry, and business sense into one. Oh, symbol of excellence, symbol of excellence. Yeah, but I think you have to be such a well-rounded individual. And when I hear that, not only do you have to be a business savvy person, but also a dynamic entertainer, but also are you heartfelt and compassionate about both of these things? Basically like a holy trinity of sorts. And that's what I think of when I think of Miss Gay America. And above all of those combined, are you truly a provider to your community and your system?
It's funny. And some people may go, girl, that's bullshit. You don't really do this. But no joke. Whenever they call me Miss America, I always think about the line that came from 72 all the way on. And I mean, it makes me tear up because
Yep.
There are so many amazing individuals that have held this title, that have paved the way for me to be able to do this now. But also, Miss America is the pinnacle of this art form. It's been around the longest, and you can spot a former Miss Gay America out of a crowd any day of the week. There's something that just gets put inside of you. But but it really is that legacy. Every single Miss America has something different they bring to that crown, or the piece of the puzzle that we call our family. Every single one of us is different in our own way. There are a lot of similarities that go across, but everyone brings a piece of them and they leave it. And that crown and that puzzle just continue to grow year after year after year. And it's one of those feelings that, like, whenever that gets announced, that's what I think about, and how lucky I am to have a piece in it.
I like that. But let me ask you this. We kind of like to get into business because I've been around girls getting ready for pageants. And I also heard y'all talk about the preparation of getting to Miss Gay America. If I can be as nosy as this, what's the most money either you have spent 1 year to do the pageant?
Oh my God. I just had this conversation a few weeks ago with somebody, but the year that I won Miss Gay America, I was really put through the ringer. I had to do 3 prelims, and then still try to keep focused on I'm paying for a national package, but I don't even have a freaking ticket. Like, what are they doing to me? So, in full transparency, when I added up that entire season from the moment Pataya won until I won competitively, I spent $33,000.
So for me, this phrase was used a long time ago, and it never made sense to me until I did it. They said, if you want to be Miss America, act like Miss America. And when I took my break, I didn't want to come back until I was able to financially travel the country by myself to as many preliminaries as possible to network for me for the reign that I wanted. Because then when I went to those cities, there was nobody, there were always new people, but I knew at least 2 to 5 people in every single city. I had already built relationships and foundations with them. So I knew that going back was going to be an expensive year. So from start to finish, it was $65,000.
I heard that.
And when that accountant added that up, I said, "Ooh,
ooh, baby." So now let's shift to you spent all of this time getting ready for the pageant. You spent all of this money getting ready for the pageant. What do you feel, if anything, what do you feel suffered personally? Or what things were hurt personally because you were in pursuit of this dream? Was it a relationship?
Well, it wasn't mine and Jack's sex life. It wasn't our sex life.
Was it work opportunities that you could have
That went
had?
up.
What do you think? Some things that may have suffered because you were so focused on pursuing this dream.
I think it's a little bit of our mental space, because for me, it really wasn't about me. I didn't take time for myself. I didn't take me time. I didn't want a phone call or a text message to sit unread. It was a constant I mean, they would make fun of me. I mean, I'd be laying in the bed at the hotel at 3 a.m. responding to people. Like, I was so hyper fixated on making sure that I gave every ounce of myself to this title that I didn't always take care of myself. And I don't regret any of it. I wasn't like, in a bad mental state at the end, but it was so draining to not have any time really for myself outside of getting, a hot trade somewhere across the country. You know what I mean? Outside of that, it was always giving whatever I had to everyone else.
For me, a lot of the sacrifice is that when I set my mind to something, I have these weird blinders on, and until it's accomplished or obtained or my fire dies from it, I have to keep going. So for many years, for me, I was a very heavy person. I mean, at one time I was 455 pounds. So I was spending all of my money on Miss America and eating and doing lavish things like shopping and doing all of that. And the one thing for me that got put on hold was real life. Like sometimes I had blinders on so much that I didn't care about going to a birthday party or going out to drink. I was at home watching the Miss America pageants. Kind of creepy, kind of weird. And for me, like my mom and dad did not come from money. They rolled their sleeves up and went to work every single day.
Same.
So my family never came from, silver spoons and trays and things like that. So I've always had a very strong work ethic. And to know that looking at the bill of Miss America every year, as every year went, sometimes my fire dimmed. It kind of went, okay, now I really want this and I'm going to spend money. But at the same time, I could have paid for college out of pocket. I could have done this and that and went to a cruise or went on a cruise every 4 months. But one of the biggest things is I always look at like family members and things that they have and accomplishments and something that I always wanted. And I always said it in my interview, in my bio, my future plans include to, one day be Miss Gay America, but to one day buy a house. And I say that because I mentioned it very briefly earlier, but I wanted to buy a house so that way I can have my family over for Christmas and to start a family one day and all of these things. So my biggest, thing that was put on the back burner was just the real life things, that was just really the biggest thing. Because me days and me time off and mental health days, sort of the kind of family that I came from, you're not built like that. It's kind of, tough shit. You better push through. There's no such thing as a 5-day vacation.
But that vacation after we gave up was real good.
Did y'all go on together?
No, we should have, but we get in too much trouble when we're together. So I don't know how that would go.
I have not had a real vacation in 12 years, so I'm still waiting for my real vacation.
Oh, sis, let's go somewhere. Fireball Island.
Oh God, that gross stuff.
Out of all the beautiful drinks somebody could drink, she chooses to drink paint thinner. I don't understand.
My liver processes it. My liver processes it. I can't help it.
And Trent, if you think I'm bad about the tequila,
I
get
can't
around
hang
that
with you.
one with that fireball. I'm telling you, a fireball will come out. You'll be like, "Where did this come from?" And you look across the room, and there she is.
And what I love,
like
but what I love is even when I'm not in a room, people will go over to Dex and say, "This is from Tatiyanna," and then they'll send me a message. "I sent Dex a shot for you," and I go.
And I'm like, "You're 1,500 miles away. Get alive." And I'll be at a hole in the wall bar thinking that nobody saw. Mary, 2 shots of Fireball. What are you doing?
It's the experience, hon.
It's the experience. So after Gay America, I know I just saw you, Tatiyanna, do Gay US of A. You get first run up, right?
Mm-hmm.
How was that experience different from what you experienced as competing at Gay America?
I I will say this. The girls at Miss Gay America competition wise are spoiled. Well, let me rephrase. They're not spoiled. They're treated with organization and how contestants should be treated. Things are very well organized with Miss Gay America. So when you venture to other systems, my experience at US of A from a contestant standpoint was lackluster when it came to organizational skills. You know, there were prelim nights we stood around an evening gown for an hour and 20 minutes waiting before we went out. That would never happen at Miss Gay America. They put the contestants first, and things are organized enough to where there is a lineup. We didn't even have lineups in our dressing room. So organizational wise, it is a little bit of a bleak atmosphere when it comes to that. Outside of that, you know, all experiences that I do in life, I am a people person, so I care more about the people that I share them with. And that aspect of US of A was fantastic. It was nice to spend time getting to meet other girls around the country that I haven't had the opportunity to meet. There were some there, you know, Aubrey Sinclair from Louisiana. We competed together, and that was a beautiful sister experience for us. She was one of my girls when I was Miss America. But, you know, I think my challenge to other promoters for national systems is, if you haven't competed, go compete in something and understand what a contestant goes through, and understand when they are coming to you, spending their time, their talents, and their money, you should respect all of that. You shouldn't be told after the fact when a pageant is over, hey, you have 10 minutes to get out. You got to get out, get out, get out, get out. I mean, we literally just came off stage. So there are lots of little things like that that were very sad to me to witness. But on the flip side of that, I will say the backstage staff and all, they were wonderful, and I love all of them individually. But as a whole, it was sad to witness.
Okay.
So will you be
And Dexter,
returning?
you did.
Or
Go ahead. No, go ahead, Trent.
do you
What'd you
think
say,
that do you think that you would return to the pageant, or do you have your eyes set on something else?
My eyes are set on something else. I will never say never, but I would need to see change administratively with US of A before I would return.
Okay.
And so, Dexter, you went to US of A, but you did at large. Is that correct? Have you been to at large?
Yes. So,
And so, what was that experience for you? You know, just same question that Trent asked Tati, but about your experience at US of A at large.
So I did US of A at large in the midst of the Miss America journey. So I did Miss America 5 times. And after that 5th time, I was very much like, okay, I'm a number. You're never going to crown another plus size entertainer. Let me go somewhere and just spiritually reset. And there had been people for years, since the day I started competing in pageants, you need to do at large. You need to do Miss USA at large. You need to do USA at large. And I said, you know what? While I'm really fed up with Miss America, let me go shut these people up. And there was a Miss Louisiana US of A prelim here. So I did Miss Louisiana at large. I won it. And then I went to Miss USA. But on the opposite side of Toddy's, it was the most liberating experience I had ever had. And again, I guess that's just kind of the year, the algorithm, the venue, the organization, you know, different circumstances sort of have different results. But for me, of course, the one year that I went to USA, I had to be on because, you know, people had always told me in this ear, you're the plus girl at Miss America. You'll cakewalk other places. No, ma'am.
No.
Right there. Because yes, Miss America is the system that people truly feel is the hardest and the most detail oriented, and it's always stood alone and doesn't have an at-large or a classic division. But of course, the one year that I go to US of A at large, it is the year of the showcasing of every big girl in the country. You had Dextaci, you had Nadine Hughes, Cheyenne Valentino, Lindsay Page, Armani Davenport, Akasha Adonis. Girl, what did I sign up for? But I really enjoyed my experience. And one reason that I chose to do US of A at large versus the Miss division is because I was always such a huge fan of Carmela Marcela Garcia, Denise Russell, Dina Cass. There's so many girls that played a part of my journey, even though they may not have ever been Miss Americas. They were truly part of the product that I am today. And like Miss America, US of A at large is in a league of her own because she too is the first of her kind. And again, kind of having that hallmark of the old school and doing that, I really loved my experience at USA. And when I was at US of A, it really did reset me to go, hold on, wake up, go back, do that dream, accomplish it, and maybe one day come back. And I've tried to balance it for many years to try to go back and go back and go back, but it just hasn't, the algorithm of life hasn't hit yet. But I do plan wholeheartedly to go back to US of A at large one day, because that is just something that, again, Miss America will always be my first love, but that's not the only type of thing that people are destined to do or to be a part of. And US of A at large just holds such a special part of my life, and I want to go back. Sponsors, if you're out there, hit me up.
Sponsors.
So as we're approaching the 2-hour mark, because Monica's looking like I'm typically
it's past Miss Monica's bedtime.
So for each of you, when the curtains come down, the makeup is off, the gowns and dresses and costumes are packed, the wigs are put away, describe the person that's standing there looking in the mirror.
I like that question.
Honestly, Sabrina White gave me the best the best anecdote when I first started doing drag. And she said, my biggest advice to you is balance will be your best friend. And I took that as, yes, balance time for both, but Jonathan and Tatiyanna are the same person. One just wears a wig and dresses. I don't change my persona. I am still the genuine, caring, loving, funny menace that I am in drag, out of drag. So for me, when all the lights go out, I find myself saying how lucky I am to be in a community full of amazing people, to have a seat at the table, and to authentically be 100% myself.
Yeah, same for me. All of that. And again, when the lights come off, I kind of go, oh, fabulous. And having that balance is incredibly important, because I've learned what Miss America did teach me, even though I didn't get a lot of it during that year, was to take time for you. Going to the gym, going to tan, going for a swim, whatever, doing things for you is so important. And just as when I'm tapped out with drag, and here we are with suitcases with wonky wheels, and I'm over it, and my face is hamburger meat. And I'm tapped out of drag. Okay, here comes day job, where drag has always been more physically taxing for me. The day job in regular life is more mentally challenging. So again, they balance each other in a good rhythm, but regardless of wigs, regardless of compliance, new hire training, and things like that, my life is very much 100 miles an hour at all times. So it's just kind of just a different avenue when I'm out of tits and tights.
Tits and tights. Dominique, now I'm going to give you the real answer. When the lights go down, Trent and I go night night. We cuddle up and we go night night.
So is that in between us trying to make baby number 2?
Well, yeah, hon. That's why you're going to That's why you're going to Arkansas tonight.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. You're a dirty bitch.
Do you really leave tonight for Arkansas?
Yeah, she's
leaving tonight. 2 hours after we finish. I'm going to get on the road about like 1.
I'm gonna
Oh,
go there
sis.
Saturday. Oh my gosh.
How far is that drive?
10 and a half.
Dominique, you're
Oh,
crazy.
God.
3 hours for me to Little Rock. Yay.
So what about you, Monica? When the promoter hat is not on and you're not thinking about promoters and all of that stuff, who's standing there?
The person I was meant to be. It took me 52 years to finally realize it, but to love the skin that you're in is a blessing. And we live in times where people aren't allowed to be their authentic self. And if we can do it, then we have to. I want to tell a real quick story. You had asked about the definition of excellence, and this to me defines the America sisterhood. When I was doing my first prelim as a regional promoter here in Atlanta, I was promoting on Facebook, and I got a DM or instant message or whatever you want to call it on Facebook from this old bald-headed gray man saying, I would love to be at your pageant. Is there anything that I can do? And I was like, who the hell is this? And I was like, and he said, oh, by the way, I'm David Brazil, Blaze Star, former Miss Gay America. He didn't ask to do anything. He said, I will show up and sweep the floors. I just love this system so much and I want to be a part of it. That to me speaks about excellence. You want to be so much a part of the system that you're willing to do anything as long as you can be there. That to me is what this system is about. And of course, I had him as my head judge. I didn't make him sweet, but you know.
Oh my
And he also got
goodness.
to be there for Dextaci to sing. And he sat in the audience and sobbed because he's looking at the second Miss Gay America that won singing live. He was the first. So that to me is the reason to do it, to give him that opportunity to see his legacy up on stage.
Up on stage.
Yeah.
So as we move forward in this really unprecedented time, if you all were to have a conversation to someone, let's say 17, 18 years old that say that they want to do drag, they're just really worried about the direction the world is going right now with this administration and all of that stuff. What advice would you give to that individual?
Listen to the people that have stories that came before you. I mean, that was always one of my favorite memories of growing up in a drag dressing room, is hearing all of those stories about how it was for them, paving the way for us. And when we go through these hard times, I really do use that as fuel. I say, we've been through hard times before. We're gonna bind together and make our own way through this, just like they did when it might not have been as bad, or it may have been worse in aspects, but unity is how we get through it. And we are a hellacious community at times to each other on social media and behind curtains and things like that. But their stories and their perseverance fuel my heart. It fuels me to want to fight. It fuels me to want to be able to continue pushing for better days. So that to me would be the best advice that I could give somebody that wants to start drag, because it applies to all avenues. You hear the stories of how they push through. You hear the stories. You're learning how they got into drag, how they have perfected their art form. So listening and learning and follow your heart.
Yeah, and I think we've come so far as a community, and even though politically they're trying to push us back and to go back into the dark ages, we've been in worse situations and we're going to be going through some hard times. But I think if we utilize each other, our strengths, our weaknesses, I think that really will assist you. And I think specifically to somebody that's wanting to start drag, being unapologetically you is so important nowadays, not only in our art form, but in the everyday world. You know, you never know that if you leave your house and you're somebody that wears little short shorts or carries a purse or however you carry yourself when you leave, you never know that there's going to be that 8 or 9 year old that's looking at you and that you're their hero because they've seen it before, walking and talking and functioning as a everyday person. So march to the beat of your own drum and just keep on keeping on.
Yep.
I love that.
But also,
So,
like,
Kate-
side note, I also want
Uh-huh.
to commend both of you, because the two of you doing this gives people such a different perspective of what they may get coming to see one of the two of us or three of us at a bar.
Oh,
So
God.
like this is huge, and I'm so happy that the two of you have decided to take this journey together.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And that's what we wanted to do. We want, like the name of the show, we want to take the filter off and really see what it's like going through certain things, that people can really get an insight of what really goes on with people, you know. So thank you for saying that.
Of course. I'll share Dominique with you just once a week, Trent, okay?
Okay.
Hey, Monica, you had what did you say, Monica, about your advice to the little draglings of the world?
Don't worry about it, because the rapture's happening tomorrow.
Take your Tylenol.
I said that to a piece of trade last night that I had wanted for years that won't pay me no mind. I said, well, the rapture's coming, just give it to me.
That is hilarious.
No,
Oh my
my
goodness.
advice is do it. Just do it. You have to, in order to learn, you have to do. And try to surround yourself with people that know what they're talking about. Try to surround yourself with people that have your best interests at heart.
Absolutely.
But just do it.
That is awesome. That is so awesome. If
Be
y'all
careful,
ever wonder,
Nike's gonna come get you.
but if y'all ever wonder why Miss Gay Americas get those 60s in interview, they showed you right here
Oh yes, well spoken.
where that all comes from.
Trent, can I ask you a question?
Absolutely.
After all this, did you have any preconceived notions about Miss Gay America that they may have changed your mind about?
I have a better understanding of Gay America, because my biggest thing with Gay America, I always wonder why does Gay America always have such great numbers? Like, why do they always so celebrated? But now I see it's what y'all created as your foundation, and you're only building from foundation. I was telling my friend the other day, if you keep on building, like if I'm a construction worker and I'm building all these houses and none of the houses have foundations, they're gonna keep falling and falling and falling. Why would I keep building houses and these houses are falling? You know, so what I'm seeing from you guys, and I'm so glad we got to talk, is that I see what queens are missing now. And you said something so important. I think it was you, Tatiyanna, where you have that moment as the queen once you put the crown on your head, and after that, you got to get to work. You know, it's no longer about you. It's about keeping up the legacy. It's about taking care of the system, taking care of yourself, showing up how you're supposed to show up, checking on people, constantly inspiring people in the community and stuff. Now I see the structure that you guys have, and now I do understand why it's so successful. So thank y'all for sharing this, because we have a lot of systems, and like I said, right now our systems aren't doing the best. But I can only surmise that if everybody could take a page from this book that you guys have built this foundation, you know, get people excited, go talk to people. And like you said, once I'm getting ready for a system, I was getting ready for the system, not only to win, but to also reign. And even though it took you, one of y'all 7 and one of them took you 8 years, when you won, you wasn't salty. It was like, oh, I won. And I know I see a lot of people win pageants that take them a long time and they just disappear. You're like, what happened? I thought you really wanted to be this, you know, because we follow y'all on these journeys. We follow y'all like, oh, we know, oh, it might be Dextaci year, or it might be Tatiyanna year, you know. We follow y'all because y'all have put so much into the system by coming year after year and standing in the forefront. So when you stand in the forefront, I feel like you have a great obligation to give the people what they think that it is that you should have done at that level of an entertainer or a queen. So now I understand it on a different level through better lenses. Yeah.
Thank you for that. That means the world to both of us. So
Thank
you.
you.
Truly.
And thank y'all so much for coming. Thank y'all so much for taking this time out of y'all Thursday to come chat with me and Dominique. It has been wonderful, insightful. I'm listen. I am elated. Thank you so much.
I love y'all.
Love y'all. Love you so much. Dextaci will do a fireball in honor of Tatiyanna while we're down in Arkansas.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, my God.
All right, I love y'all. Dominique, have a safe
Love
drive.
you.
All right.
Thank you.
That
All
was
right,
so
Voche.
good, Dominique.
That's another one in the books, Trent.
Listen, I always wonder why, like, they have it going on over there. But, it's just those little key nuances that they have that they've been taught. And the expectation is already there. So, you don't have to even second guess when it comes to that. But I know you got to get ready and go on the road. But I want to play a clip from our next week's episode because we're
Yes,
gonna do
please
we're gonna
do.
do we me and you pre-recorded, Naomi, but we talked so long that we had to break that thing down into two nights, right? So next
We
week is gonna
did.
be Thursday and Friday. I think that's October the 2nd and the 3rd. It was great talking to Naomi as well to see
Yes, it was.
sometimes in this community we just don't feel seen. And I think that's a big
Mhm.
thing. You go do all the things that people expect you to do and you show up in a certain way. Oh, I go get the gowns y'all get, I go wear the clothes y'all wear, and I still don't feel accepted. So I think it's a very insightful interview that we got
I,
with her coming
mhm.
up. And I
And
can't
I
wait for
do as well, Trent, because listen, not to cut you off. Once again, we never know why people react in the ways that they react.
yes.
We never know the things that we may say or do that trigger memories for
Yeah.
people, that put them in bad spaces or in modes of being defensive.
Mhm.
And until you just, instead of judging,
Yeah.
or instead of trying to make an assessment of who that person is, take the time to try to find out, once again, as the show says, what's beyond the filter.
Yeah.
What's behind, what's under there, what
Right.
cause, because you may just have a really bad misunderstanding, and
Mhm.
and people may be looking for something that they never got before, and sometimes acting out is the only way that they feel that they
It's
can
the
get your
only
attention,
way. It's the
and
only
they
way.
just want you to say, hold on,
I
just get
see.
them by the shoulder, say, hold on,
Yeah.
can we just talk for a minute, and can you just let me know what's really going on,
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
so that's what I
And
really
sometimes
got. Hmm.
And sometimes, no matter how absurd it seems, when someone is telling you how they feel, sometimes you just got to listen. Because a lot of time we be like, "Well, I don't see it that way. I don't do that." Sometimes you got to be able to see it from more lenses than what you're looking for. So I just want to play a little bit of this while we sit in the
Go ahead.
backstage.
My presentation was 15,000. My gown was 10,000. So you're already at right there 25,000. We ain't talked about no sportswear that was 1,500 plus the materials that was over 3 or 4,000. We haven't talked about how many times we got to go back and forth to these people.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? For these fittings and to
Wow.
do all these things. There was a lot of money spent. We haven't talked about jewelry yet. We haven't talked about hair. We haven't talked about makeup. Like all of that stuff costs money. My makeup artist had to be flown in from Tampa. Like he had to be paid $2,000 for his weekend or 2,500 for his weekend or however much it was for his weekend. A lot, right? My hair package was like, how many hair pieces did I have? 5 or 6, right? My talent was a lot. I had to pay my dancers and everybody. Like it was a lot. It was a lot of money. I probably have spent the most to ever win. And looking back, I still could have won and not spent that much. You know what I'm saying? I still could have like won every category and still not spent that much.
Well, why was it
But
important to
I just
spend so
wanted to make
much?
sure because I knew that they didn't want me, so I had to make sure that they couldn't deny me.
Let's put a stamp right there. Why did you feel
Okay.
like they didn't want you?
But they didn't. I mean, like let's be real. You can look at the crowning moment. They did not want me. It was no secret that they did not want me. I don't go many places and not know what I'm walking myself into. When I went to
So
the
you,
cancer birthday party in Atlanta recently, I went in there blindly. I did not know what I was walking myself into, but I felt like I would be walking into love because Christopher Higgins, who runs the joint, is one
Shout
of
out
my
to Chris.
fathers. So right. So I knew I would be protected in his space, right? But
Mhm.
usually, I know what I'm walking into. I don't go into places blind. It may
Do you
seem
think
like
they
I'm
didn't
going into a
want
blinders
you?
on.
Do you think they didn't want you judging from the things you had been through with Black America because they are sister systems? Do you think that it was
No,
because of that, or is it something you done previous to even entering the pageant?
I can't put a thing. I don't I don't meet their criteria. I'm not what they see as a ruler. Like I'm not the quintessential ruler, you know? So for them it's like Sasha and I go back to when I was a Butch Queen, bitch, before any of that. We would text and talk because she liked her nice, cute red Butch Queen. And
Shout out to
in
Sasha.
Tampa, shout out to Sasha, much love to Sasha. And in Tampa, when I was a young Butch Queen, one of my female friends and I, she was a promoter, and we would book Sasha, and I would be the driver to pick her up from the airport. So like we had a long-standing relationship that was kind of sort of like tricky, but like I've always, when it comes to anybody, any ruler, anybody that's related to Black Universe, before, during, and after being their queen, I've always had nothing but love and respect for that organization and everybody that's a part of it.
You talked
so
to
so what do you think is what do you think? So because you said that you weren't what they were looking for, what they were wanting. What do you think that is? When you talk about someone that they want to be a ruler, what would you say that is? Because you said you were not that. You felt
Well,
that
right
you were not
now, well,
going.
right now, I don't think there's an answer to that question now, right? But when you ask, as me walking into it, like I guess it would be someone who's a little bit more trans, a little bit more quiet, a little bit more talented, a little bit more pretty than me.
mm, is that part of your own insecurity to make you feel like this, to have that preconceived notion?
No. They have been very clear. Everyone has been very clear from
Oh
the
no,
Black
because
American situation to this
that night,
situation.
that night you were so
Everyone has
fucking
been very
gorgeous.
clear. No, bitch, we didn't want you. Like they didn't want you. Like everybody knows. Like they never wanted me, and it's fine, But when God says so, we all have to go with what God says, and it's very dangerous when man tries to jump in and undo what God has already put in place.
But let me ask you,
That's
can
So
I
then
kind of
ask
the
you
way
this?
I look at
how
it.
did it so how did it feel then to win something
And
that
not
you're
be wanted.
saying that they didn't want you in the first place? So because I mean
It
let's
felt
let's
horrible.
reflect that you spent 60,000 because that's what I want to really get to the
Some
root
people don't
of.
make that a year.
To me,
So
that was trivial. To me, the money I spent didn't mean, like, that's trivial to me. That
Okay.
didn't, like, to the average viewer, it's like you spent how much? Oh my God. But like to me at that time, it was nothing. Like, yeah, of course I gave up some rents. Of course I was 3 months behind. Like, of course, like, my lights were due and my phone and all this other shit. Well, not my phone, because bitch AT&T ain't gonna play with your ass, okay? But like I sacrificed a lot for it, and it kind of felt like that
was it
people
worth
look at it
it?
as like, was it worth it?
when the, when they put that crown on your
Yeah.
head after all that you went through, the emotional part of they really don't want me, but I'm doing this to prove a point. They put the crown on your head. What do you feel? Do you feel like, oh, I showed them, or were you like, oh
No,
my
I didn't feel
God?
like that.
So
That night,
how
how did
did
I
you
feel in that
feel?
moment? I
Mm-hmm.
felt exhausted. I felt really tired. Um, I fell in love um with Exotic, not in a romantic
Okay.
way, not in a
Yeah.
sexual way at all, but I in that moment, I fell in love with him in that moment. And
So moving.
I just felt tired and I
Mhm.
felt exhausted. And I just wanted him to take me away from that spotlight for that moment. And that's what he did.
And what did you
I
So
feel
in
said, I
that
tired
told him, I
moment,
said,
you
I'm
move.
tired.
Go ahead. I'm
And he's
sorry,
like,
Chad.
let's go. And he took me away from that. Huh?
So in that moment, so that happened. You're going forward. What are your thoughts? I'm going to show them that I belong here, or what is your mission in that moment?
My mission,
How are
my
you
mission,
walking into the rain?
um, I walked in it optimistic and hopeful, sad, extremely sad, because there was so like after you win, you want people to be like, yes, girl. And everywhere I went, it's like everyone had like this look on their face, like of disappointment. I can remember Stasha's face the next night. I could remember Nicole's face. And it's like I had to, after winning, still yet go to them and reassure them that everything was going to be okay, right?
Mhm.
And to Stasha, like after it all, she looked at me and she said, "Okay, okay, I'm a ride with you." And no shade, every prelim, every event, every time it was time for me to hit the road, Sasha would be the first person to say, "Ruler, good luck. Ruler,
Okay.
best wishes, And I know that that came from a hard place for her, you know? And maybe that's why, of all the people now, she still has a very hard time with seeing me.
Oh, that
Trenton
was a lot to
Charles,
unpack.
yeah, because you said a sample. That was
That,
that was that, that,
that was
that
a
was
whole interview. What?
that was a sample platter, Negro. you see,
No,
you
no,
see,
I wanted to have
you
a story, man.
yeah,
Wait on the
it
story.
was it could because and I think that what's going to be really interesting is how when I think that people will see an evolution of
Yeah.
where the interview started
Mm-hmm.
to where it ended in the on the
Absolutely.
second half. I think people are gonna because sometimes when you're allowed to speak how you feel, whether we agree or not, because we weren't there to judge. We in those moments we asked some really tough questions. We challenged her in some spots and stuff like that. But I think that you know we had that first part, but then she started marinating. And then
Yeah.
she came back in that second half, and you could just see where she had. It just seemed as if she just started having these epiphanies
Yeah.
because she became less quick to respond,
Yeah.
and she started listening,
Yes.
and then she responded, and you could just tell the way that she was feeling. It was almost like she kind of real because we said because which of course they're going to see in the interviews. It's hard to really try to explain it without telling too much, but you could
Mhm.
just see just based off some of the things that we talked about that you could just see the love for herself start to kind of come through, and her starting to think about herself and what she felt she needed, because then she even got to a point to where she owned up to a lot of stuff, and she was
Mhm.
like, yeah, these things I didn't do well, these things I could have done better. I can't be mad at people for not feeling this way about
Yeah.
me, even though I'm trying to rectify it. All of that, and but once again, that's what's so important. That's just what I think what we do is so important. Not that we're trying to expose anybody, but sometimes people just want to talk and they just want to be heard without any judgment.
That's it.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
it. Just be able to tell your story. Dominic, thank you again for tonight. Thank y'all for watching, and and supporting us. We really, really, really appreciate it. Dominic,
We
I know
really
you
do.
getting on the road tonight. When you told me, I'm thinking you talking about 4 or 5 hour drive, 10 hours.
Oh no, yeah, it's a 10.5 hour drive.
Is Sean helping you drive?
Shit, I wish Sean go get in that back seat
Have you
and
had
have
enough
his stuff.
rest?
I did, but see, that's why I drive at night though, because
Um,
it's very therapeutic for me in the respect that I started doing a lot of thinking. I think about life. I think about things that I'm doing. I'm thinking about things that I'm trying to move to, and those are just really peace. That's just a really peaceful space for me. And so, if
mhm.
there's nobody really out there on the road, you can just keep on going. You don't have to slow down for anybody. So yeah,
Yeah.
so it's just
Do you be speeding?
I look forward to my drive. Oh no, 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 no! I can't be caught
You be
driving while
driving the
black.
speed limit for a 10-hour drive?
Yes, because
I
listen,
hate, I hate driving on the road.
in,
'Cause I go 100 in a minute.
yeah, in this political climate, I don't. I want to try to avoid being pulled over at all costs. Because
Okay.
I mean, I'm not saying all cops are bad or anything like that, but there's just some of them out there, especially because when you're heading into Arkansas, especially when you get into the South and you're dealing with
Mm.
those people with those Southern mentalities and stuff. When you live down in Memphis and all that stuff, you never know who about to pull you over, Billy Joe or Tommy
Billy
Bob
Bob
or
Thornton.
whatever the can, just waiting for me to do something foul so they can pop me. So yeah, I'm gonna try to speak
They have
limit.
them popping you. But thank you again. Go ahead and start. Finish your packing and let me know when you make it because 10 hours,
Uh,
you get
yeah, we'll get there in the early morning.
okay.
But
Be
we gonna
safe.
be all
Love you.
right.
Talk to you soon.
All right, talk to you soon.
Thank y'all so much. Catch us next
Thank
week.
you. Bye bye.